Hello and welcome to this new Q&A here on the channel. A little bit of a special Q&A as it is part of the 10-year anniversary celebration of this channel. And because we are celebrating the 10-year anniversary, you might already know it, we have a few giveaways going on. This video will have a special code for the third giveaway, and you can find it somewhere in this video and then comment it in the corresponding Instagram post. There will be a link to that post in the video description below so you can find it easily. But let's jump right into the questions that you have sent in for this Q&A, and we start off with the question: after 10 years of making aircraft models content, what's the biggest satisfaction when looking back? And that's a very good question and very difficult because I I don't look back that often, and I'm not very good at, doing these self-reflection things, at least not with achievements, I guess you could call it, like having a YouTube channel for 10 years with regular uploads. But I guess that's one of the things actually that I think is kind of an achievement that I'm proud of, is the fact that from I've started the channel 10 years ago till today, there has always been regular videos. And of course, since last year, also on a second channel. I think I have missed one or two, maybe three video slots here and there due to illness or something. But generally, there has always been regular content coming up on the channel. There has been, at least the Wednesday has always been a fixed point with a new model review. And that has really been from the very beginning of the channel until, today. So I think, that's something that I'm proud of, that I have actually managed to to be that consistent with it. How many models do you have in scale 500? That's a very good question. I can't say an exact number because I have only kind of counted the overall number of models that I have. Although, I mean, most of them are scale 500. I have one scale 400 and a few scale 200, as you can see behind me. So I would say roughly 950 at the moment, I think. I think that's where we are at the moment. In terms of scale 500, and then we have a follow-up question that is asking if there's a chance that I would switch to scale 400. I did a video earlier this year after which there was some confusion as to if I was going to switch to scale 400, and no, I am not switching to scale 400. I want to review more scale 400 models. I have done so throughout the year, and that is something I would like to continue with. Scale 500 is still going to be the main focus when it comes to reviews, but every now and then having scale 200 and 400 in the reviews as well is something I would like to do more of, because I mean, it gets interesting, having a little bit more variety and also to see what happens in some of the other scales. But really changing what I'm collecting, no, that is not really something I'm considering. Then the next question is if I will be attending the Collectors Fair in Amsterdam in February 2025. I've said it before and I will gladly say it again. Yes, I will be attending the fair. I look very much forward to it, and hopefully meet a lot of you guys. All right, then the next question is how many model airpods do you have active? And that's a very good question. Technically, I guess I have no active airpods in the sense that I do always pack them up once I'm done making pictures or filming them. But in terms of airpods that I have over this year been taking pictures of and will also make content on in the future, let me see. We have, of course, Philadelphia that has made its return. Then we have the Scandinavian Mountains Airport. That's one where I've only taken pictures for Instagram, and the same goes for Porto Santo. And then, of course, hopefully, I don't know if I'll manage to have time for it this year, but hopefully then beginning of next year I can start working on my New Zealand setup that I would like to do. So then we will be on 4 airports. And then of course I have these a few of these Airport Codes series backgrounds from A4 Airport. In scale 500 I have of Zurich, Haneda and Amsterdam. And those are also something, or some backgrounds basically that I would be using every now and then, but I guess I wouldn't really consider them to be like full airport setups. Then the next question, could you sell any Eurowings models? Unfortunately, no. I very rarely sell any of my models. If I ever sell models, I will announce it, but it very, very rarely happens. So unfortunately, I don't really have any Eurowings models for sale at the moment. First decision you would make as Wings Division CEO. So if I was to head the Wings division of Herpa, oh, that's a tough question because there's many things that I think need to be done. But I think the very first thing I would do, considering that if I was going to work there, I would probably not be able to change a whole lot from the get-go. It would take time. But the first thing I think, therefore, I would do is to fire whoever is in charge of social media and either do it myself or hire someone who's actually qualified. And I don't want to be mean here because I'm sure the person does their very best. But as long as Herpa has all these issues, they could not solve them, but they could really soften the blow with collectors quite a bit if they were better in communicating about things. And nowadays, if you want to communicate with people, it happens through social media, not through a newsletter. So I think that's the first thing I would do. Then we have a question regarding my New Zealand setup. What is your inspiration behind creating a New Zealand setup? Very good question again. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I did travel there in 2018. I had a lovely trip to New Zealand in 2018 that I enjoyed really, really a lot. I got to fly a bunch of routes through New Zealand. Instead of I arrived in Auckland and had to go all the way south, and instead of going there directly, I basically took as many flights as possible on the way. And I had a great time. I enjoyed myself tremendously. I did some spotting there. I just had a lot of good interactions with the locals. And so I was already kind of having a positive vibe about New Zealand. I like the airline Air New Zealand. I've only had good experiences with that airline. I love the liveries they have. I still to this day remember flying into Wellington, the airport kind of being between mountains on each side and then having water on each end of the runway, and then you have a bay where you have the actual city and all that. Yeah, it has just, it stuck with me. Then because I wanted to create a new airport setup where I want to try to do some kind of water. Of course, it's fake water, but having a setup with that. And then I was thinking, like, where would that be logical to have? And then I remembered this flying into Wellington. Now, the setup will not be in Wellington. It's most likely going to be in Auckland. But even there, you have the water right at the airport. So, yeah, that was a factor too. So, yeah, just all around good vibes with New Zealand. Lovely airlines and good memories. I think that's just why I was kind of drawn to doing New Zealand. Oh, then a very tough question here. What gives you enjoyment of 1 to 500 modeling? I mean, if you're just looking at collecting scale 500 models, it's getting tougher just because scale 500 is lagging behind and because of the many issues that Herpa does have. I kind of alluded to it in a recent video, which are called 10 models, 10 years or 10 years, 10 models. And kind of looking through my reviews over these 10 years, I mean, I'm still happy with models, but the joy that I had with models 10 years ago is not the same that I have with models today. Of course, I'm getting older as well, but and also kind of, you know, getting more knowledge about something makes you maybe look a little bit more critical on some things. So if you have 5 aircraft models and those are the 5s you know, then you will be happy with them. If you have 500, then, you know, there's more of a perspective, I guess. So that clearly must also be a part of it, but I still have joy with it. Don't get me wrong here, but of course there are things that put it down a bit every now and then. But honestly speaking, it's, for me, still, I mean, I do still get enjoyment about models. I like creating these airport updates, even though it's a lot of work and it takes me probably far too long. But then also, and it might sound cheesy, but the community. I have made some really incredible, great friends through this, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm not the person who has like 100 friends. I'm quite selective when it comes to that sort of things, and that I've made some close friends through this hobby is something that I enjoy very much and that I appreciate a lot. And just the community in general, I have said it so many times before, like it's it's actually quite incredible that so many people from so many aspects can get together about something like this. And there's genuinely, I mean, there's generally quite good vibes between people. Of course, we can have some disagreements on how Herpa should do or how certain things should be, but generally, I think people are just, you know, nice towards each other, and yeah, that's something I enjoy quite a bit, because I think it's valuable. I don't think every community has that, so I really enjoy that this is part of airplane model collecting. Then perhaps the most important question in this Q&A, and the question is if Bern International Airport will be coming to Amsterdam, and the last I've heard is that yes, he will be coming to Amsterdam. I look forward to meeting him because I have never met him in person, believe it or not, even though he is quite active, especially in my live streams. Yeah, so I look forward to meeting him in Amsterdam this coming year. Then perhaps, since we are talking Amsterdam, a quite good question in that regard. What airplanes are you looking for right now? And what models I'm looking for is really difficult for me because I should just make a list and I just don't. So I tend to forget. I kind of remember, oh, this is the model that I've actually been thinking about, and you know, then I don't write it down and then I forget about it again. And also because at the moment I'm not really actively searching for any models, because yeah, I just can't be bothered at the moment. Some of these models, you kind of have to be on eBay pretty much every day if you want to find them and want to find them for reasonable prices. But if I had to come up with at least 2 models right now that I kind of am looking for, and again, without actively searching, but maybe I'm lucky and find them for reasonable prices at the Collectors Fair in Amsterdam, that would be the DHL A300. I was looking for it last time, but didn't find it. And then an A400M of the German Air Force. And I know there was a special fair model from Herpa Wings of such a model, but that was with a special livery. I would like to have it with just a plain livery. And that is a model that sells, but always for way more than I would like to spend on it. So I'm trying to find that for reasonable prices. And I'm in no rush, so, you know, if I find it and the seller wants an amount that I don't think is reasonable for it, I have no problem in just leaving it. Another model that I was looking for, and actually I've been looking for years and missed many opportunities in actually getting it, was the Tarom A318, but I'm not really looking for it anymore because unfortunately the airline has retired that aircraft type. What a shame. But that was a model that I wanted to have for many, many years, and as I said, I missed the opportunity to get it many times because then there was just something else that I got instead, and yeah, I never got around to buy it. And now, because it's retired, my interest has dwindled quite a lot. Okay, then would you like to do a My Collection video of Finnair? Yes, absolutely. I would love to do a My Collection on Finnair. In fact, I would love to do it so much that I have already done it. So you can find it on my channel. I believe I did it in February 2023. So yeah, just look out for it. It's on my channel. Then we have another question that is perhaps a little bit more complicated. Do you think Herpa has lost communications with its retail partners regarding quality, model details, etc., and instead has raised prices in an effort for retailers to still stay on board with Herpa, as it means more GP for the retailer? So basically, yeah, is Herpa keeping retailers on board by raising the official retail price, which means even though Herpa is raising their prices as well, retailers theoretically are still getting their chunk of money when selling the models. But yeah, I mean, from my understanding, Herpa just barely communicate with their retailers. That's at least the impression I get when I talk with some retailers. They seem to be kept in the dark about quite a few things. For example, what I can tell you is that when we have the news about new models from Herpa Wings, that is information that used to get out to the retailers quite a bit before we as collectors would be informed about it. Which I think is kind of reasonable, because it means that retailers can start, preparing for what they want to order and the quantities and so on and so on. Nowadays, Herpa is giving out this information very late. In fact, mostly on the day that they are announcing it to us. Of course, one of the reasons they do this is because this information did leak. So retailers got the information and didn't keep it for themselves, but leaked it, and then most collectors knew about the releases before Herpa was announcing it. So I understand the move, but I know it's not the only things where Herpa is keeping retailers in the dark. I think probably more problematic for retailers is the thing not so much about the model announcements coming late to retailers, but the fact that the model batches that are actually hitting the shelves, so when the models are ready in production, have reached Herpa's headquarters and they are ready to ship them out to retailers, that is information that they are also giving out extremely late. It's not unusual for these retailers not to know anything about what models are actually coming until really late. Now, regarding the price, Herpa is of course rising the prices. They make sure that they get the money that they want, and then of course they announce an official retail price. And what is that? That is of course the price that Herpa puts on their models when they sell it to the retailer, and then they add a percentage on top, and that's then the price they say this is what the model should be costing if you go to a shop. This is our recommendation as what the model should cost. With that added percentage, that's basically then the earnings for the retailers. I mean, at least part of it, because of course the retailers do have expenses. They need to buy the models from Herpa, but then of course the added percentage will cover all sorts of costs, having a store, taxes, all sorts of things, shipping costs and whatnot. So Herpa can increase their prices and thereby also increase the retail prices. I just don't think they're doing their retailers a favor, because the reality is that hardly any retailers are selling the models at the recommended retail price. And they don't do that out of the goodness of their hearts, because when they sell them for less, it means they're earning less. So why do they do it? Well, I stand by the reasoning that the reason they do it, first and foremost, is because they can't sell the models at the retail price. If they were selling the models at the retail price, they would sell way, way less than they do today. And they would earn less. And that's one of my biggest criticisms when it comes to these Herpa retail prices, is that they're squeezing out their retail network. They're making it harder for the retailers to sell these models. And we have seen that retailers, had to give up because they couldn't stay in the market. And if the retail network disappears, who's going to sell these aircraft models? So yes, I don't think they communicate well with their retailers, and I don't think they do their retailers any good by increasing not just the base price that the retailers need to pay when they buy the models from Herpa, but also the official retail price, because in the end of the day, it's a fictional price that hardly anyone will end up paying, because no one would buy the models at that price. And then our final question, will you make airport creation tutorial videos for beginners? A very good question. I always feel quite self-conscious about making tutorials, because I don't think that I'm that good at making airports. I know there's some things that I can do fairly well, but I also see a lot of you guys making things that are way better than what I can do. So to kind of make a tutorial for me is like, if you have mastered your craft, you can make a tutorial and teach others, but if you haven't, it's a bit, it's a bit strange to make a tutorial. Nonetheless, I do get the point, and I know that a lot of people are watching these kind of tutorial videos, so it might be something I could do. I haven't really done it with Philadelphia. I could have filmed some of the things I did there. I mean, I did my behind the scenes vlog, but I, of course, hardly did like a step-by-step thing, and that's mainly because I'm not that organized when I do my airport things, and I would need to plan a lot of things ahead to really make a good tutorial. So I guess I would kind of have to do it separately. So not really with one of these airport projects that I have. So for example, not with the New Zealand setup when I start doing that. But when I'm doing my New Zealand setup, of course, would have a lot of materials laying around, and I could maybe take some of that for some individual tutorials. I'm basically brainstorming here now. So trying to go back to answering your question, it's a good idea. I don't know if I feel comfortable doing it. If I have a day where I feel good and confident, I might give it a try. But don't look out for it in the next few weeks, because I will definitely not have time for it. But maybe it's something I could do next year. All right. So those are the questions that you had for this special 10-year anniversary Q&A. I hope you found the code somewhere that you can enter in the corresponding Instagram post that you can find a link to in the video description below. And of course, good luck with the giveaways. Yeah, that's all I really had to say. Again, thank you so much for all your support, all the wishes that you've sent to me in comments, in messages, in posts. It's incredible, and I'm really, really grateful. So yeah, if you like this type of content, then feel free to leave a like. If you are new around here, you're always welcome to hit subscribe. And with that, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.